Alright, it's time to record.
Alright, we're recording. You're in frame, I'm in frame. Alright, so what's the plan for the week?
Alright, yeah, so what is the plan for the week?
I don't know. F it, let's just wing this shit and figure out what, and just roll with the triple commit intro and we'll go from there.
Triple commit intro, let's go.
Alright. Alright guys, welcome to the triple commit. I am a dead moose.
I'm a Brave New World.
And I'm Cobra Kai, aka Substitute Be Birthday Boy, aka I'm back!
Alright, and our production manager is super excited to be back, and he's probably more excited to not remember what this weekend's gonna be like when he does turn 21.
Yeah.
Alright guys.
We need to stop making clapping noises.
We do need to stop making clapping noises, but I don't know what to do with my goddamn hands. Okay, I need to stop swearing. Alright,
Also,
also,
sense of that one that doesn't have any bad words in it.
alright, also, special shout out to DireWoof, who is busy drunkenly drawing the triple commit logo as we speak.
Yeah.
Also, another shameless plug, if you want to help fund our podcast and our wedding fund, again, go to the RSC store. There is franchise and RSC merch there. And if you want anything added to the merchandise store, just message DireWolf. Or, message Moose, because I'll figure it out anyway.
Yeah. And you said something about funding our podcast. Probably sometime next week or next 2 weeks, we're going to be putting out a Triple Commit Podcast t-shirt, which will be used to fund the distribution to Spotify, Apple podcasts, or whatever it is, cake handles and stuff for me.
That way, when we run out of free posts, we can actually pay the $2.99 or whatever it is for the fourth post of the month.
And all the money from that t-shirt would be going straight towards just funding podcast expenses for distribution. So we'll talk about that more in probably next two episodes.
All right. Also, we before we get into this episode, we would like to dedicate it with, again, another unofficial alcohol sponsoring of White Claw for our good friend and buddy Mesmer, who is on a cruise with his girlfriend, who I think might be Jinx's mother, from what we understand.
Because they're both on a cruise at the same time.
Yeah, what's it? All of a sudden, Mesmer and Jinx are both on a cruise, same time, same weekend. Suspicious? I think so.
And the franchise first thought was, plot twist was Mesmer is Jinx's father. But we were talking about it before we went on air today, and we were thinking, wait a second. We're pretty sure Mesmer's girlfriend is older than him. So, she could be Jinx's mother, and he doesn't know that he's dating Jinx's mother. So then, boom.
I'm starting to...
Somebody should break it to him.
Yeah, we'll let them know, but I'm also starting to smell another video edit Disney parody ripoff.
Which one? Was it going to be Sleeping Beauty?
No. I was thinking Mesmer, I am your mother. Oh wait, no.
That's Lucas.
Yeah, guess who owns that now?
This is going to be a Greek parody of Oedipus Rex then.
Oh, speaking...
If it's Mesmer, I'm your mother, it's Oedipus Rex.
Well, speaking of Rex, we actually do have Rex and 2K joining us today. They're going to be helping us out with both power rankings and goal of the week, so we can actually figure out how to submit those, what they're there for, and is there a process to their madness. Odds are they're throwing darts, but we'll find out as the season progresses.
We'll find out more.
Actually, Cobra, if you could do your production manager duties, can we get those two guys in here now?
Goodbye.
There we go.
Hello.
Oh.
All right.
Who are you saying goodbye to?
We got one, we got two.
1 and 2.
We got 1 and 2? All right, perfect. Good, we don't have to fire a production manager just yet.
I'm probably gonna be fired at least once or twice, it's fun.
Yeah, make Rex a little bit louder.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. The making Rex louder, not the firing Cobra thing. We have a precedent for that.
That's probably a good...
You're fired!
Celebrity Apprentice RSC style.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay,
Getting
so
political on the podcast.
No, that's the trade raptor, right?
The trick.
We sent in the trade raptor when I think it has to go someplace to RC.
Alright, I smell a link in the description. Is that what we're gonna do?
Some possibly.
Alright.
We could.
Yeah, link in the description.
Alright, in any case, alright, let's get down to brass tacks, or power rankings if they were... Wait, power rankings or goal of the week? Which one do you want to start?
Let's start with power rankings. So 2K, I know you're on power rankings, and we saw those nice graphics last week.
Yes, shoutouts to Retro Explorer.
Ooh, Retro, good friend of ours.
Yeah, he's the one making them all look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. So far, good job. We definitely appreciate the work that you guys are putting in.
Yeah, he did the work on our first thumbnail for our podcast when I was talking to Kate, and I'm like, I don't have a thumbnail. He's asked me for it in like the 11th hour. He's like, I'll ask Retro, we can take care of it. He pulled together a really nice one for us.
Yay. I love Retro. I miss Retro.
Yeah. I hear he misses us
Just a
too.
cool guy.
Good dude.
Yeah. Yeah. He's shout out to Retro because A, awesome person, but B, he now has to deal with my brother, and I wish him well. But anyways, all right. So all right? I guess. Well, again, as I was telling Brave earlier, we don't have a plan. We're winging this by the seat of our pants because we had other stuff to do. So these interview questions are going to be a little, well, impromptu.
We're going to be figuring them out as we go on.
All right.
We're very much waiting this.
So let's start out with, all right, power rankings. Aside from the whole, it's cool to have them. How did this get started? Why power rankings?
All right. Well, I can start with my individual story, I guess. Last season, just because I was in between jobs and looking for something to do, I wanted to teach myself, how to use Excel and Google Sheets and whatnot. So I said, hey, let's take stats from the website and end up ranking them. And if I do all of the categories that matter, kind of thing, that we could come up with some sort of power rankings. And so I did that for minor individual players for about 3 weeks. And I did it once for major just because Rex was asking so nicely. And it ended up being a little too much work for just me, so I kind of let it go. And I think, I don't know how long Dart had been thinking about doing it. He might have caught wind of what I was doing. He might have come up with it on his own. But he said, hey, it's a team game. We're a team league. It matters what we're producing as a 3 or 4 man squad. So let's do team power rankings. And so it started from his idea. He gathered the troops, came up with the idea, and then the mastermind Hecka came in. He was like, guys, I got this sheet that I made for CRL casters to put teams side by side and show their stats, and I've got these, formulas and algorithms and stuff. Like, we can use my stuff. It'll be a nightmare. And he's been working for hours, honestly, troubleshooting this. And it's taken him well over a week working every day to kind of make sure that everything falls into place. But at the end of the day, we've got most of what we're looking at is stats available to the public right on the website if they just drop down for team stats. We've got a couple extra additions if we can talk about that later. And so we are just doing it for the love of the game, and also because these sort of rankings, if they're kept up with properly, and we are releasing as much as we can to the public, it'll be good for GMs and scouts down the line to check out, this player has played on this team while they were there. They put up some numbers, kind of thing. It'll work out down the line. More information, I think, for the league is not a bad thing, and it can help. We've hypothesized how many people it could help, but there's no telling.
Yeah, shout out to Hecka, because I know. Even just with some of the discussion and serious suggestions, and I know he is a Google Sheets mastermind, and
absolutely,
we definitely appreciate the work that he's put in. And actually, shout out to just about anyone who's involved in an elevated role with RSC, because if once you wind up on one of these committees, you are surprised at how much work gets put into this stuff. Your average player puts in, 4 hours a week roughly, just to be a player. And then on top of that, with the amount of side projects, organizations, committees that we have rolling, it's bonkers.
Absolutely. And it stems from wanting to see something and making it happen. You want a podcast, make it happen. You want make it happen.
Yeah. You fix an audio issue.
You want a bouncy castle on the stream, make it happen. You're just
Exactly.
You want to do it?
Have we had that?
I don't know, Rex. You're on media.
I mean, I am a caster, but I don't think I've ever seen a bouncy castle on stream. That's why I'm like, holy, did we have that?
I don't know,
We
but
need to have one.
We're gonna.
Possible.
All I know is
there's no new ideas under the sun, man. Anybody can think of
Right?
anything.
I mean, Native seems to manage to get front row seats to the champions to DFH Stadium each week. I'm sure he might be able to find a way into a bouncy
He also
castle.
seems to have a mahogany desk every time we see him too.
That's true.
That guy's got an insane setup, man.
He really does.
Yeah,
Just so proud of how it works.
Shout out to Native real quick. That boy's insane.
I feel we go shout-outs.
I guess so. I feel like a rapper. We're at the beginning of the song, and I'm just like, shout out to my boy over here. Shout out to my boy over here.
Shout out to the crowd.
Shout out to the crowd.
Everyone watching, shout out to you.
Thank you, LA. I'm not even in LA, but why the heck not?
I don't know. I'm more of an East Coast rapper guy, so
East
shout out
Coast.
to
Compton.
shout out to New York.
Compton, we got Detroit represent.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Rex is here.
Toronto?
Oh shoot, Rex, I forgot. You're in the area. We can get you out for. We can get you over here for either official broadcast and or a beer when I'm allowed to drink again.
All
Or
right.
you can come play soccer with us on Fridays.
I suck at soccer. I'm not coordinated.
And come watch and drink.
Well, you see-
Well, I can watch.
I
Yeah.
would say you're 6'7". We'll put you in goal. That'll be fine.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did that once. we had a 6'7" guy in goal who wasn't coordinated either. He did all right.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't run his face into the post, but good on him for staying uninjured.
Jimmy, who wasn't our team, just like walks in like, that guy's a freak of nature. I'm like, yeah, if he could catch a ball, he'd be great.
All right, so let's. All
Well,
right.
let's get this back on track. So, 2K on power rankings. I want to ask you: is there any concept of like momentum or like significant win something like kind of like in like college power rankings? There's a big part of it's like you may have been like 4 and 8, but you just beat number 2 ranked, and like the momentum and the significance of that win outweighs your previous record a little bit. Is there any concept?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll point to 2 specific areas in which our stats go kind of next level, mostly because of Heka's doing. So the first thing is we have these things called indexes available to us. And the index is basically how many goals are you putting up? How many shots are you putting up? How many saves are you getting compared to how much your opponents typically allow? So let's say that I have my team, you know, they're the Power Rangers, right? And they're scoring, 3 goals a game this week, but they're facing teams that let everything in the net. And I have this other team that's a similar record that are only scoring 2 goals a game, but their opponents typically don't let anything in the net. So we've got indexes there that can show us that those teams, even though they are similar record, well, they're finding the ball into the net, whereas, they're playing teams that normally don't allow that. So that's some, things that we see that the website doesn't see. And then secondly, Heka has gone the extra mile once again. We have weekly stats available to us. So what happens when stats get uploaded to the website, they're cumulative. They get stacked on top of each other each week, piled on, added, put on the website, and you see the bulk of what you've done over the entire season. We have a section of our sheet that lets us see just what you did in the last 2 match days. So we can see a team that has gone 0-4 the first week, or 0-8 the first week, is now 8-0 the second week. And so we know instead of ranking them just as a regular middle of the road 8-8 team, we might put them higher. And there are definitely people that put votes out higher. And then just because I know that there were some people that were confused when Power Rankings first came out, how am I this rank, how am I that rank? We do it on a voting system. So if I think, let me grab a tier here because I have a sheet in front of me. If I think the Vikings are the number 1 team in minor, I'm going to vote them number 1. And if I vote them number 1, since there are 32 teams in minor, they get 32 votes.
Okay.
Right now we have 7 voters in each tier. So one person will put them first, 32 votes. One person will put them in third, 29 votes, and things like that. And eventually those votes get added up, and the total votes is what gives you your power ranking.
Okay.
So that balances it out. If there's one, it's happened already, where if I think a team is number 1, you think a team is number 10. And if it was just 2 voters, that would create a lot of difference. But there's 5 other people to back us up, it averages out, and we're pretty confident. We're working on maybe adding a standard deviation or a confidence value in there to make sure that we're being honest, I guess. But so far, things are going, I think, very, very well in terms of, people seem to be on the same page roughly. But, there are those people that think, hey, even though, this isn't the top record team right now, I think they could beat the top record team. I think they could beat everybody kind of thing. And those votes matter.
The Ohio State.
Yeah.
The Ohio State University.
Right. And, you see it enough with fantasy football, anytime I, print out my draft sheet about 2 seconds before the actual draft. And I'm like, all right, you got the 3 experts. And it's like, okay, same thing. These 2 guys think he's going number 1, but then the other guy's like, no. He's going number 5 overall. And then it averages out to like he gets ranked 3rd. And, okay, so yeah, we had our suspicions, but I know there was Wanma was looking for more public clarity, and I figured bringing you guys on would, give us a little bit of clarity.
So
also,
we have stats available to us, and we've been talking. I had a talk with somebody else in the power rankings committee. He was like, "Oh no, I put a 3 and 5 team above a 4 and 4 team on accident." I was like, "Well, why is that wrong?" You can definitely prove that you think a 3 and 5 team could definitely beat this 4 and 4 team. There have been 2 games played this season, and I know some people were like, there were a very small few that were completely up in arms over the preseason rankings. Not that Treco had an attitude, but Treco's my GM, and he 2K. Why are we ranked 28th? Like, I'm nuts. This other guy on our team is 1600 MMR. Like, what's the deal? And I was like, we were going off of basically nothing for preseason. We assumed records that weren't reported. We were going off of who people literally just, oh, is that guy nuts? Oh, that guy's on that team. That guy's not nuts. So I'm not going to. And it was just so all over the place that preseason rankings didn't necessarily mean much. It was just a proof of concept for us, a proof that we could get the votes, that the sheets worked, that we could get the graphics out, and that we could get everybody hyped for it. And so now this first week, and in our message that we posted out for the notification, like, it was going to change a lot from preseason to week 1. Right. And I think I've already seen that. You'll see them. I mean, by the time this podcast has come out, everybody will see the week 1 rankings. Yeah. And so, people will be pleasantly surprised. People will be all like, but we were ranked number 4 in preseason. What is this garbage? And it's like, well, we've got actual stats to base things off now. So, but take it with a grain of salt. There have only been, 2 match days so far. Things are going to change as well.
RIP our Lightning team. Holy whoops.
We just dropped 4 and then we had a good game.
Yeah.
I think that is like our example from the first episode about the Lions. We win every game of the preseason against the 4th string.
Oh, God.
We're great. And then you go into the actual season, you're playing against the real teams finally.
Right. And I imagine, too, as obviously, like you said, as the season continues, you've got, we've got 2 days worth of stats. Anything can change. And heck, even from last season, I still remember the elite conferences, both conferences minus the first 2 teams and maybe the last 2 teams. You had 8 teams all going for 4 wildcard spots. That's how darn close it was.
Yeah.
And then, again, power rankings, much like in the college polls, they, it gives you an indicator, but, every now and again, the Miami Dolphins knock off the Patriots. Like, there's no.
I remember 3 seasons ago when Mimics were leading their division, and then through Black Magic, Math Magic,
they managed to
drop out of division title and out of wild card spot.
They did that 2 seasons in a row. I remember they wound up going 0-8 in their last 2 games, match days of season 3 and season 4.
And the season before that, we dropped I was brought into a team in their conference to fix that team. We took them from our team from bottom to stealing the division title from them and dropping them into a wild card.
All right, and then what was it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're all right.
I know I got I guess one last question and then one little segue to start getting Rex involved here.
Sure.
Last question is, I know you talked about how you initially were working with individual power rankings. Is there a plan to bring that into the fold as well, or is it going to mostly stick team-based as we kind of roll down this season.
So, what I'm thinking, and we've been talking, down the road things what we want out of this season specifically. I can say with about 75% confidence that you probably won't see an individual players power rankings committee or sheet from us, at least. For two reasons, and these reasons are mostly coming from me, not the group. One, when I did individual players, right? I only released whoever I had top 10 for minor, and anybody else who wanted to know, they could ask me. And that's just because I don't want to embarrass people. I don't want, to put people all the way, there was 143 minor players last season, and I don't want everybody blasting out, this guy's 143rd,
Right.
Like a free agent who hasn't played and all this stuff, I just don't believe in embarrassing people. And so I was outvoted as well, kind of thing. I put in my say to just, have the graphic and be done with it, but people thought, more transparency is better. Let's release the graphic and release the sheet, so even if you're not on the graphic, you can see where you fall.
Right.
I didn't necessarily agree with that, but I got outvoted, and I believe in their arguments, and I think it's the right thing to do, and I'll support that. But then, secondly, why I don't think there will ever be individual power rankings from an official committee is because on the website, individual stats is the most viewed tab on the website.
Right.
We have the data for that. Everybody goes on there to see where they're at, and you can just sort, by points per game. You can sort by these things, and if your name is consistently showing up in the top 25 and the top 10, you're up there, kind of thing.
Oh, come on! We just need more ego in this league. Come on, you know that.
No, I think the ego's good.
I feel like I'm in here with
Strikes.
Shut up. Shut up.
No,
I know what you're thinking.
No. Somebody mentioned Craig, so.
No, we love Craig. Craig loves this podcast. We love Craig.
What's the time on the clock already? How far did we get before we had to bring him up?
Anywho's, I was gonna say, player power rankings, I feel, is extremely subjective. Like, if you're looking at a league like the NFL or I don't even think college. No one can watch all the games in college. But like in the NFL, where like an analyst can watch all the games.
Yeah.
Like then they can get in those player power rankings because
plus like you take friggin' Russell Wilson or you take friggin' anybody and you put them behind the Miami or the Jets offensive line and it's just like they're not going to produce the same way they were, kind of thing. So it's just like I don't believe in it. I go on the website because you're probably already doing it. Look at yourself, wallow in your pity or gloat and do whatever you're gonna do. I have the most shots in Challenger. Ha ha ha.
I've got the most shots.
If I have the most shots, time to look at that shot percentage now.
That was my Crike dig, by the way. Mr. Last season, he was Mr. I had the most shots in Challenger, by the way.
When Jim made that title run less than minor, he had a lot of shots. He didn't have many goals.
Yeah, no, I was pushing assists, but holy cow, was my shot percentage god awful.
You had an extremely exclusive relationship with that crossbar.
Those are just passes, my man.
You couldn't share that crossbar with the goal, could you?
No, we actually named the crossbar Megan after my ex-girlfriend because
he was hitting that. It was a bad idea. He shouldn't have done it, but he was hitting it anyway.
Oh my gosh. I took that a really dark way. Holy cow. I was like, because you kept hitting your girl. No. The euphemism. I got you.
The euphemism hitting it.
All right.
It's the other version of hitting it.
In addition to not condoning excessive drug use or alcohol, we're going to now go down the no domestic abuse route in the. Oh man.
Hitting in this case is sexual intercourse.
Yes.
Are we gonna have to?
I'm glad we've established that.
Just to make sure there's no misunderstandings. This is a slang term hitting, meaning sexual intercourse. Go Urban Dictionary that if you really want to fact check me.
Consensually.
Consensually.
Massively derailed from where this was going.
She would hit you though.
Yeah, she did hit me physically. So
No. I want to know.
Who's the victim now?
How
Why
would
is
you
Rex
rank?
here, man? Why is Rex here?
All right, so Rex, we're here because apparently you aren't you submit. Don't you own
Okay,
a
Rex has
video
goal of
for,
the week.
Don't you own a video for power rankings or something? Is that what we're doing this next week?
Okay, so what I do is I'm goals of the week,
Mm-hmm.
which is a committee kind of project thing that we're setting up because we want to get this ball rolling.
Literally.
Someone had started this let's do like a best highlight clips from RSC games thing a while ago, but no one really went deep into it, or hard advertised it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to do is I want people to be excited about cool goals and stuff that they've done in the week. What we're doing. Nice. That was cracking a cold one, eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just wait until you see the video.
There's gonna be quite a few more. I really wish we could drink. Also, is my drink over there?
Where the hell is it back there?
Do you need me to line? Never mind. All right.
All right, so we found Jim Shake. All right, back to Rex with what the video's about.
Okay. So we're having Infinite. Shout out to Infinite for making that one really cool highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
We got him in here, and he's now on the media committee with the rest of us. And he's going to be making a top 3 goals from each tier. So we have this submission form. Basically, on the submission form, it says, "Hey, what's your name? Blah blah blah. What match day did you hit this goal?" All of these goals are coming from official match day games. Right. So if you did something absolutely nuts in a game, submit it because we're probably gonna have that be top 3 goals of the week.
Okay.
We had this one guy submit goals from just twos games. That were not actually. I reviewed 6 of this dude's highlights, so they're none of them are actually from RSC games.
So are you just sitting there? Oh, are you just sitting there, just 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, well, what we have to do, and Cobra is kind of helping me in this as well.
When I'm not half asleep, that is.
Yeah, we have to verify. Okay, what match day did you hit this? Okay, what team are you on? What team did you play? Who's on that team? If I can see that team in the replay, then that counts. That's officially we can see we've checked that it is from that match day. Cool. It was pretty nuts, and then we'll all vote on we have a spreadsheet of goals that have been submitted. We've got up to 35 submissions this season. We didn't really have, just from week 1. And a couple goals from preseason.
Dang, that's not bad at all.
My goal is I just want to get the word out there more often, so more people are oh wow, I hit something really cool. Maybe I could submit that to goals of the week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it'll even get featured because what we're going to do, hopefully, is we have top 3 goals from each tier. Those are the ones that are going to be shown. Your goal may not make it in. But if you hit into one in next week, it may be cooler than everyone else's, and cool, you can make that in next week. But we're going to have the top 1 goal from each tier. We're going to save that for the end of the season, and we're going to have everybody vote on the number 1 goal from that tier over the course of the season. So we're going to go back.
Go ahead.
We're going to go back and look at all of the number 1s from every week. That's going to be about 15 goals per tier. And we have some really cool ones. Unfortunately, not many people in Premiere think that their goals are very nutty. Tide sent me this really insane pre-jump that Neb fed him from a ceiling shot. And I was like, holy cow. Dude, this
and then those guys are that's just standard.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just a lame pre-jump. And I was like, dude, this is cooler than anything I've ever done. What are you talking about?
From my experience with working with Premiere, they all live on their own island, just off in the middle of nowhere compared to the rest of the league.
Well, yes, that's also why we had 3 of them go wander into exile mid-season. Thank you, Southpaw. We love it. Cough, cough. Can we bleep that later?
You're gonna make me feel guilty because I had to go to bat for him to keep him in the league when Slurp wanted to take him.
That's all right. Slurp can have him. I still miss
I had to go to bat to make sure he's still able to be taken by Slurp.
Yeah. What is it? I'm trying to remember. It was Mimic that took over. Thank you, Mimic, and then you can show the camera. Don't show us. So far,
Show the audience.
yay, we're getting a logo. You don't have to.
This is not a logo, this is just a painting.
It's gonna be in the background eventually.
Yay.
We can't
Yay.
put it like there.
Hell yeah.
There.
I mean, we can't see it right now, but.
Well,
I hope it's really
I'm only
cool.
mildly drunk. It's fine.
Yeah.
In front of the microphone.
Just hold things.
All right.
There's the logo.
Cool. We're in
So
frame.
far, I'm gonna color it.
All right. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Also, keep drinking.
All right.
Working on it.
After our rant about
What was I was gonna? Yeah. Let's not wander into the EM rant about Premiere problems. What was it, Rex? I was gonna say. Now I know you.
wait, actually, before we get to that, EM's got 99 problems, but Premiere ain't one anymore.
True. We did drop. We did drop them. Now we have amateur.
Wow, way to
Nice.
first shoot already, damn.
Dude, I tried to get Dino Park to get an elite team so I wouldn't tear out of it because I love Dino Park.
Mm-hmm.
But RJ was like, yeah, we were not getting one. But we got a contender and amateur team.
Elite teams are fun, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rex.
and RJ's still.
All right. Actually, in context, because the people here, we talked to them about their team. So when Jim and I were running EM, our entire Premiere team decided they're all going to quit at the same time. So that's why we
Oof.
kind of don't like managing Premiere at all anymore. Because they all decided to quit at the exact same time, and we had to try and make that work for like 3
Just
match
went on
weeks.
strike or something?
Yes, they actually went on strike, and I then blindsided free agents to just keep a team so that we didn't FF.
Wow.
And then one of the guys that I signed wound up falling asleep in front of his computer, which right before match day, which eliminated them from playoffs. Because I think if he had showed up, they could have actually
How do you
made a run of it.
accidentally fall asleep in front of your computer? Like you're
I mean-
Okay, I have a friend who did this in college.
in a gaming chair. If it's in college, you're probably not in like the best. Like in my dorm room in college, we got like some kind of like garbage. Like
Oh, those
Also
garbage
would-
chairs.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Like, how do
So-
you fall asleep unless he's sleep deprived for like weeks? Which
he is sleep deprived. I'm gonna tell you this story, and you're gonna. Okay, so this dude's past. We have a soccer game, and I need to play goalie for me. So I'm like, Steve, wake up. Kind of like push him around on the shoulder a bit. Doesn't wake up. Steve, wake up. Push him a little more. Doesn't wake up. Steve, wake up. Club him with a half full Gatorade bottle. Doesn't wake up. I'm trying to go get the water, and the guys are like, just let him sleep. He really needs it at this point. If that didn't wake him up.
Yeah.
yeah, holy cow.
Or it sounds like Steve is dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Gatorade bottle didn't wake him up, I think I would probably seek assistance like from a.
No. As an RA, you don't want that
I wasn't
paperwork.
an RA at that point.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
But no, he was breathing. He was fine. He was just passed out on his desk drooling.
Wow.
But all right.
Use the air horn. It works every
He,
time.
when I found out later, he had like 3 all-nighters in a row studying for exams or something.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't miss those days. All right. Anyways, let's try and rope this back in a little bit. So Rex, I know. Oh boy.
Well,
I'm
Tangent
not.
City.
There's there's a lot of tangents I can go there. We're Linz, you keep quiet about the rope. All right. Anyways.
Hand me another drink.
Oh boy. All right. So.
have this one.
Rex, I know with the GIF submissions, or the clip submissions, 1S, well, like you already talked about, again, shout out, let's make sure that it's 3s because Cake has mentioned in multiple notices that people can't read. So if you're listening to this and you want to submit a GIF for Goal of the Week, it's got to be a 3s GIF, and it's got to be from an actual match day.
And Kobo and I will drop kick you if it's not from a match day.
Crane
Then
kick
to do
you?
that,
Drop kick you.
Crane kick.
Crane kick?
you could
Crane
also,
kick.
if
Dad
you're
kick.
a FA, because they have FA tournaments and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you're in an FA of a specific tier, you can submit something from a tournament
Wow.
that you could add to the thing, but you have to say what tournament it is.
So it has to be an RSC sanctioned event.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Electric Mayhem does tournaments sometimes in here, if I remember. We
Yeah.
accept those as well. So it just has to be something from like RSC or like a RSC franchise or something like that.
What about
And
scrims?
Scrims, we're a little bit like, because we can't verify it as well. You know, it could just be a game of you guys like just in ranked or something like that. That one's I have to start
scrims with
about
RC
that.
teams. I mean, like
Oh, okay. You know, I don't want to make any decisions for anyone. We like just saying that As of right now, we don't have any. We're not taking anything from scrims.
Okay.
Because it's not like an official like.
Yeah. It's
That
there's,
didn't
there's
happen
no
in a real
stakes.
match.
There's
Right,
no
no
stakes. You
stakes.
can really just
if
go
it gets
wild.
score reported, send us your stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Go team.
And hopefully, what I'm going to try and do at the end of the season, if your goal is voted top in your tier, we're hopefully going to get like some kind of reward for somebody, like goal of the season.
Yeah, like a little Puskas.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I would like to do. I'd have to talk to RJ and everyone. And I mean, we don't have a committee for this, so it's just like me, Nate, Infinite, and Cobra. We had one other dude named Jaren, but he left because he had some stuff. I don't remember. He just left.
He had a lot of stuff on his plate. And
Yeah,
just,
he had
focused on
a lot of stuff to do. So, as of right now, like basically we go in, we get your submissions. We had 35 from this past week, which was cool. I think 5 of those were from something random. Like you have to enter a number of the match day that you hit it, right?
Yeah.
And this dude put like 26 and then like 13, and we were like, what? Dude, it's match day 2 and 1.
We really need to start.
There was like one guy that put it for like a drawback server. It's like, bruh.
Yeah, the drawback for that one we're counting because like it's an official tournament of RSC because that was the tournament from Electric Mayhem, right? If I remember.
Yeah, I got really bored at work and I know, especially at the time we were having.
It was you and Thunderama working together on that, wasn't it?
I know Thunderama was one of the guys that helped me out at one point or another. But yeah, I basically. There was this big serious discussion going on amongst all the GMs because of the whole fun forfeit controversy thing that was going around, particularly with Elite.
I remember that season.
The Bolts took full advantage of that. In any case, though, everyone was up in arms about what to do. How do you prevent forfeits? How do you punish players? Do you punish GMs? And my thought was, well, I find that people tend to respond more positively if you offer incentives rather than punishments. So let's try and give
them something to play for in the last week of the season.
Give teams something to play for. I think my rough idea, my proposal was something along the lines of, if you don't make the playoffs, you know how at the beginning of the draft when you with the draft wheel for selection, you get a certain percentage chance better of getting an earlier pick. If you don't make the playoffs, you had like a 2 times chance, and if you were a new franchise, you got like a 3 times chance.
You're trying to ruin the Dolphins' tank there.
Yeah, exactly. So what my thought was is that if you could somehow create a system where you could do, basically you got a small percentage boost. Let's say it was something real tiny, like a 0.02 extra chance per win or something like that. There's 60 games in a season. You can potentially add like a good number, or actually even if you did like a 0.01 chance, you could get 1.6 extra chance. So your GM has an incentive for you to win. Players now have something to play for. And then with the backdraw tournament, I'm like, okay, let's offer some sort of a prize. Let's maybe offer like bonus draft chance. So that way, even if you have a rough season, you go through and run this, run the table. You can maybe, make a name for yourself, get like kind of like how champions get the trophy next to their name. Maybe you get a ribbon next to your name or something like that.
Yeah, you get a dumpster fire emoji.
Yeah, so I tried to run that tournament, and with moderate success, just because 1, it was done relatively last minute, 2, it was me doing it and I'm not the most organized person, and then 3, a bunch of teams, some tiers like Premier, they were all busy with other tournaments. Elite, I had 2 teams show up, so I think that was like Planet of the Apes and I think it might have been Gucci, and then but some of the other tiers I actually got a good amount of support from it. I think it was either Challenger, Minor, and I want to say Contender.
Yeah.
A lot of guys came out for it, so I don't know if I don't know where that all landed, and since I kind of got kicked out of GM Hub because, well, I'm not a GM anymore.
Shout out to Cake, add us to GM Hub again.
Yeah,
That'll help with the podcast.
maybe Cake will let me back in there. But anyways, if we can, you know,
Who is GM of Electro Mayhem now?
Wolverine, accidental
Wolverine,
yeah.
accidentally thought to be Jimmy's wife. Also stuff from pre-talk before this podcast.
I mean, he's cute, but I don't know.
He makes some pretty good food pictures.
He does make good food, Linz. I might have to trade up. He's also got a work from home job. I don't know.
Big rip.
And it's, well, I'm sleeping in that tool shed again tonight, boys.
Buy podcast t-shirts to pay for the heater for the tool shed.
Exactly.
All right. So, anyways, so we got goal of the week. We got power rankings. Anything else you need? Anything else you guys need to add?
Do you need any staff recs?
Did I need what?
Do you need to recruit staff for?
Currently, no. Like, this is a really small thing. If we end up making it a committee, like goals of the week committee, and if we get more submissions per week than just 35, because we'll need more people to verify those if that's the case. And I hope that through this podcast, more people do submit 2 goals of the week. I don't know where the form is. I'll talk to Cake about getting that in a place that's seeable.
Mm-hmm. We can put it in a podcast discussion too and pin it there just for extra visibility.
And also, if you sign up to be on stream and your team plays on stream, and somebody made a really nuts play on stream or whatever, we can take those submissions too. Those work just as well.
Yeah.
Twitch clips.
Yeah. Now we just need. The only downside of that is that I need to, I know.
You need to install Gift Your Game so I don't have to use the clicker training.
Yes, I need to install Gift Your Game. The other thing, too, is I remember for the intro montage or whatever, I forget who it was, but they were looking for clips from playoffs. So I immediately added my guys, and I'm like, hey, you guys have a perfect clip. Why don't you submit that?
They couldn't be asked. I know who they were. They could not be asked.
No, they could not be asked. I asked all 4 of them, including myself, and nobody did anything. Even though it was on stream in the finals.
If you just get Gift Your Game, it's easy. You just click F8 as soon as you score a goal, and it's there. I submitted a goal this week. They didn't pick it, but it was easy to submit. So
get better.
Just do it.
I mean,
it was a great goal.
Oh yeah, Brave New World, dude. I saw your clip actually.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge of that tier. Otherwise, I was gonna pick it.
Because I'm just that was a great goal. Because I'm just I come out, do a little layoff pass, push the guy out of the way so that there's space.
Yeah, that was clean.
Yeah. Just passing place.
So, all right.
You know what else is clean?
Tiers of the
Power
week.
rankings,
Yeah.
which these lovely graphics will also be included in the Goals of the Week video.
Ooh.
And the lovely talking points and commentary from none other than Rex. So,
right.
as well, have your goals featured for your friends. Have your teams do well put in the power rankings and glorified permanently on YouTube.
Definitely.
Right.
Even if you think that your goal was just okay, if you're one of those premier players who thinks that your goals are just regular, your little flip reset musties that you think are just regular, meanwhile everyone is like, holy crap, submit it anyway.
We want it.
We want it.
Get Gift Your Game.
Exactly.
Get a really loud mechanical keyboard. Clicker train your team. Clicker train your team. Every time you click F8, they get positive reinforcement for the goal they just scored.
Exactly.
I did this to our team. They won a championship. If
There
you do
was
this, you'll win a championship.
Like a teammate who clipped his buddy getting a really nice, clean shot off of a nice pass from him. We're putting that in.
Well,
that's a nice play.
There's a major. I'm in that chat, so I saw it ahead of time. You had that one major goal where it was a full team goal, just passing play.
Yeah. Right.
That was really clean.
And it was really nice. So we were like, okay, yeah, we'll add that. So you have a nice team play or a cool thing that you just randomly have happen, or just some out of this world bonkers BS goal that happens. Submit it.
Even if it's funny.
I'm colorblind. I don't know what
Right.
that means.
Exactly. It could be the most dumb goal ever, a 1 meter per second goal.
We
Not
want
top
6
10.
whiffs. We
Not
want
top 10.
6 whiffs trickling into the net.
Exactly.
Some week you guys will do not top 10 for fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Except they ain't really whips when they're calculated, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's calculated.
Let's see here. Oh yeah. What was it? Totally off tangent, but I'm gonna give a shout out to Seven for actually managing my Premier team for that
For
last
showing
season.
up.
Well, yeah, but no, what was it? Yeah, I clearly got lost, but yeah, during the whole Premier team bashing, I did thank Seven because he made me a deal. He said that if I told him that I would promote him from Elite to Premier, as long as he managed that team and there were no issues. And well, they got to the finals and there were no issues. So thank you, Seven.
Wow.
And then Adverse got himself signed to an actual esports organization.
Yeah. Also, congrats. Adverse did.
What is he on now?
Where did he get signed?
You can search him on Liquipedia, and it'll tell you. It's they're a minor team. They're a minor esports org, but they have won money in tournaments. So hopefully we'll see them in RLCS Alpha Plains sometime soon.
Dope.
The other thing too, before we send you guys out of here and get Untamed in, so we can discuss why I cut him and
Why I cut him too. I was 2IC for that season.
Yeah, it's brutal here on the podcast.
Jerry.
Speaking of a very Jerry moment, Rex, how was it trying to trade your other AGM?
Oh, dude, okay. Story for the ages, all right?
No,
I was never going to do that. We both knew it was going to happen, first off. We were in the same call.
It made it a transactions channel.
Right. The message, the moment that message happened, right, I was in the same call as him. We were hammered. I was like, dude, what would be so funny if I pretend to cut you, but you don't know? And then you come in the chat and makes this huge blow up drama thing. And he was like, dude, Void was just all over that. So he ate that shit up. And like we were crying, laughing, and just drunkenly just having a good time while this whole thing, everyone's like, yikes. And I was like, we were all dying about that. So everyone who thought that that's like a huge controversy or like I really goofed up, so never make me, we knew what it was going into it. We were joking. But at the end of the day, Void did want to be traded. I'm really sad. My entire team blew up like right before playoffs, so we got kicked out like immediately.
Yeah.
But it's whatever. Like that whole thing, it was a joke. We had our little haha. But there was no beef between me and Void. We were both really good friends. And
You said "were" there. That sounded past tense to me.
Are we gonna have to bring in Void next week to clarify?
He's on a major team in a different franchise now. I'm on an elite team and doing another one. So,
Here in the end,
I don't see him as much anymore, but he's actually from Michigan too. He's all the way in Grand Rapids. So shout
cool.
out to
He
him.
can come to the bar with
And
us
he's
too.
got his cat is cute as shit.
Yeah, dude, that cat is adorable. Oh my god.
Rex, are we doing a road trip to the west side?
Yeah,
RSC
dude,
road
we
trip.
can do
All
that.
right, we can do it.
All right.
And I would like the last thing that I will say to be, you guys have really messed up if you don't name this podcast the shout out episode.
RSC shout out.
That's a good idea.
That's
Shout out to naming things.
all right. There we go.
And
There's our title.
Oh, I spent
shout out
because
to
that.
H2O because that's good.
Shout out to
That
two.
fucking stupid server block out
Oh yeah,
Hell
dude,
yeah.
RSC got shut down today. That's so funny.
That's
RLCS.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
RLCS.
RLCS.
Leagues who
NHL matches.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was watching it. I was like, oh no, they're gonna have to turn the whole thing off. Like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
So I guess just to end. So Rex, you training your AGM. When I was AGM to Moose,
You kept threatening to cut yourself.
If he tried, he was like, "Hey, you want to deal with this Premier issue?" And I'm like, "I will trade myself if you don't help me with this." I have the power to trade myself, and Marcus will whack his ass off if I try and trade myself.
But he will process it. Because shout out to Macus.
Shout out to Marcus. We want to interview you because I'm sure there's something.
Yeah, dude, that guy does so many trade stuff, or like he's transaction like head, right? If I remember.
The amount of times when, "Hey Marcus, can I do this?"
Yeah.
And
Oh
he
my
is
god, that guy
responding
does so
instantly.
much BS for the whole season.
Not to mention, I processed so many flipping trades that first GM season. That was woof. And speaking of players that I cut, we need to get Untamed in here, and Rex and 2K. We're gonna have to say goodbye to you. Thank you guys again for wandering in.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Thanks
having
for
me.
having us.
Yeah. Do you guys have the time and date when you guys are, or just the date when you guys are dropping the video?
A couple,
hopefully
maybe
tomorrow. Or
Alright,
Monday.
so hopefully Monday.
Before the games start, yeah. So
Sunday or Monday. Look
Yep.
out for the video.
we're gonna try
On
and
the
get those
clock
out
sometime.
like the day before the week starts. And I mean, I'm gonna have to talk to 2K more about this because he's writing the script for me. You know, we originally wanted to do this just so because like me personally, as someone who only played in Major for 2 seasons, I couldn't have cared less about what is going on in other tiers, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I wanted to give like a little mini like short update, like, hey, this team is doing well here. They just got this player. This is happening. You know, try and create like a little storyline for like rivalries or something like that. Maybe we have our own MSU or like U of M or U of M versus OSU rivalry in our own in this server. You know.
And that's kind of what we wanted to do with the podcast a little bit too. Start doing player spotlights, team spotlights, franchise spotlights.
Yeah.
So I know Untamed is kind of going to be our next guest to kind of start this off, and then as we start hiring staff, we're going to actually be able to
Hiring.
hiring.
Unpaid interns.
Can we get the unpaid interns to drive us to the bar?
We're unpaid interns too.
That's true.
And as
We're in the
well,
red. We're paying interns.
like if for whatever reason, you know, people were running into issues with the goals of the week thing or whatever, it was originally the plan to only have preseason out as, and the only place that you could find the power rankings would be in this goals of the week video. But now we have the power rankings result chat in the official RSC Discord. So regardless of what's going on with that, like we have said, we're trying to get it to you, you know, before matches on Monday. But if for whatever reason it doesn't happen, we run into hiccups, things are, you know, coming through the pipe. Power rankings will be there for you all to indulge as well.
All right, perfect. All right, Cobra, do your magic. And also, what time did we start this recording at?
I don't know.
Sometime yesterday.
Wow, we're like this is going on an hour almost.
It's 2:04 right now. Yeah,
How much time do we got to?
we got plenty.
All
I
right.
don't care how long this podcast
Anyhow,
is.
2K, glad to have you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Shout out to my mom.
RJ Storis and Dino Park. Woo.
Woo. This is the shout out episode.
It's definitely the show.
Let's get the little interval before we get in Untamed.
What's the interval?
Well, first, hey Linz, you should put sometimes you gotta send all 3 as a caption at the bottom.
I might end up doing that digitally. I'm running out of space and I want an epic boost.
Oh, you could do it diagonally.
I could. I could just do it like right here.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to write that down for me though, because I'm drunk.
I can see it in your eyes. Your eyes are like.
Even if I can see it in you trying to open something.
I can also see you attempting to spell something right now.
You 3 have already lost it already. Jesus.
Sorry, Cobra. I'm the only sober one here because, well, darn you, medication.
Every time you hear that little crack noise, it's subtract 1 for Linz, and then that's how many drinks I've had. Plus 1, actually. Never mind, every time you hear the crack noise, that's how many drinks I've had, because I had 1 before.
Fair enough. Okay, what are we doing for Untamed? Any intro?
Oh good,
I'm
your
right
writing's
beside.
not as scary as Jimmy's.
I thought it was sometimes you just gotta be sure.
Well, for us, it's going to be something different, so there's no copyright.
I don't think there was copyright.
There is Tony.
No. We're gonna quote Tony, and then
Emily format that?
and Emily.
In typical tradition.
Yeah. And EM creation. Have somebody do write up the scouting notes. You then quote them on their scouting notes, and then cite them on the scouting notes, and analyze it.
The scouting
Noise.
The scouting was in one sentence. Hit the ball and we'll be fine.
Yeah. Hit them.
Noise.
Noise. All right, Cobra. Let's bring Untamed in here.
All right,
if
so-
he hasn't fallen asleep on us.
Untamed, the person we cut from EM 2 seasons ago. And then felt like we probably should have not come because we had some interesting people happen.
That was a regrettable season, to say the least.
There's a lot. There were 3 tiers in turmoil that season.
There was every tier in turmoil.
I don't know. There were 3 that I had to deal with, and one that was doing well, and that was my tier.
It's a miracle we got 2 teams in the playoffs. We almost had 3, but then
It's a miracle we had a team in 3 tiers, so we went through that in turmoil.
yeah, Wolfie almost got the challenger team in there. All right. Anyways, who is Untamed in here yet?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Untamed.
Oh,
Been here like 5
Well-
seconds.
all right, perfect. Welcome, Untamed. Sorry, we took a long time with Rex and 2K.
We hit a lot of tangents.
We did have a lot of tangents.
This is the
It's
shout
okay.
out. So
I did not fall asleep.
All right, shout out to Untamed for not falling asleep.
Shout out to RJ for waking up when we pulled her in last week after probably 2 hours of sleep in the last 3 days.
Is there a player we haven't name dropped yet?
For the viewers, it's 2:10 in the morning right now while we record this.
Yeah.
Just want you all to know that.
What was it? We originally slotted for like 12:30, and then
It was 12, then moved to 12:30.
And then 2K had a deadline to Rex, who was also on the show, so he gave me that deadline.
Yeah. So thank you for staying up with us. And Wolf on the. That's unfortunate. The hoops tournament got canceled because I know you were supposed to be casting that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was supposed to be a part of it too. That's like, damn.
Okay.
All right.
I'm looking forward to casting that as a dunk master. Not something I get to do often.
I am a horrible dunk master. I definitely prefer my pucks to my balls.
Yes.
Oh
It's like
my.
I'm not a camera.
Taking the wrong context.
Well, you should have seen what my soon-to-be wife just did, and it's a good thing she's not in frame for this camera shot. Anyways, all right. So Untamed, you are going to be basically the
Crossfire challenge?
Well, Untamed, you are kind of the start of our GM/franchise spotlight. I guess we kind of did that with Llama in season 1, or no, episode 1.
You have not been drinking at all.
I know, but it is 2:10 in the morning, and I did
It's
work
2:10 in the
today.
morning, I am drinking.
Yeah, I wish I was drinking. I'd make more sense. All right. So, all right, where are we going to start off? I know Wanma, shout out to Wanma for writing a ginormous report about the entirety of your franchise there, Untamed. So, for starters, let's introduce you. Who are you? Why are you here?
I gotcha. Hey, this is Untamed. I got cut from me on the end.
Yeah, I'm pretty pissed about that still.
Oh no. We
My
are
perfect
doing this.
record is
We had
gone.
seller's regret.
We are doing the
I'm
Jerry
just
Springer
here to
version.
ruin the show, yeah.
Jerry.
Jerry.
Or is this Maury? I don't know. Wait, Untamed, are you my baby? Are you the father?
Oh,
Am I the father? Am I
you
pregnant?
are.
Am I pregnant?
Oh no.
So
You made me? Baby, get in my belly.
no. We already had the food baby on the show. That was
Shout out to one with the food baby.
food baby one.
This
Yeah,
is how
so
this has
scary.
This is how this has been going all night with tangents.
Yeah, we haven't gotten anywhere, which is kind of why I
No
said that.
coherent sentences have been spoken.
Which is why I said that next week we're going to start to organize. This week we were just going to, do what we did and, wing it.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously Untamed, we've talked about this back and forth multiple times about how, you're a wonderful addition to the EM squad. However, due to the dumpster fire that was my franchise in season 5, I may have made multiple decisions that were definitely not beneficial as I was learning, and I also didn't realize that some of the guys that I did stick with were going to, what I can only assume was do massive amounts of hard drugs
Actually,
and message me halfway through a match day.
Do not condone drug usage.
No, you don't, because that's how you wind up
Actually, I
messaging.
feel like we should start from the start.
We'll give the viewers some context because we did mention this in the pre-podcast lobby, but now we're recording.
So we started off with Untamed and Matt, also known as Vortex, who Matt Scouting was assuming was in a lab with a guy named Vortex, who was not the same person.
Yeah, they were not the same person. So I'm like, oh, Vortex, that guy's awesome. Let's draft him. Instead, we find out that he was actually named Matt. Still a good player, but he was also
Unreliable.
Unreliable on account of the fact that he was not 18, and he was at one point
He could get called to dinner at any time, and we would lose him for the night.
Yeah, I don't know how you wind up eating dinner at 10 o'clock at night, but that's
You live in Canada on the West Coast or something.
except he was East Coast, which was the more bizarre. Which was the more bizarre thing.
Your mom works a job.
Could be, despite the fact that he was like 15,
Hey,
he couldn't make it.
all speculation.
All right. Anyways, less speculation. So, what was it? I can't even remember quite how it happened. But at one point or another, we wound up dumpstering my entire elite team at some point. I'm debating on whether to send Brave up, promote him up there, because at least I know I'll have someone up there.
And then we decided that the strategy was keep me in major and promote whenever I needed to go up.
Right.
I was actually in elite at the same time as being in major there because we had what we thought was going to be a solid team. So I would just go up whenever they needed a player who was solid. I'm sure.
Yeah. And then at one point or another, we wound up. I think we wound up going with Gray. We wound up going with Gray Fox and Matt, and then with Matt constantly being called to dinner in the middle of RSC matches, I think we got rid of him, and then we wound up with Gray Fox, who I thought was going to be a great addition because he was a former EM player, and then he fit into the rotation, but then at one point, first match.
More context. You knew that you were going to be missing a week of matches, so we needed to absolutely make sure our fourth man was going to be able to show up.
Right. So we got Gray Fox in there, and then about halfway through the first set of matches, absolute no-show. And then at 10:06, I remember it specifically, at 10:16, I get a message from him saying, "Did you get the message?" And I'm like, "What message?" As I talk, I sent that in the middle, in between games, and he's like, "The message of deliverance," and I'm like, "No, but on the other hand, I'm sending you a cut message because I don't know what the heck you're talking about." I don't know if he was on a Jehovah's Witness bender, if he had been born again or what, but I delivered him to free agency instead of.
That was the most deliverance he got. This is around when the Sellers Regret came in.
Yeah, not to mention too. What was it? I think we want to bring Matt back just because of that.
We brought Matt back because
we promoted Viper because we love
trusted
Viper.
him.
We love Viper and we trusted him. And then Untamed, unfortunately, you got lost in the shuffle there.
And you went to a good home because Tree Frog immediately ate you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the plan coming into that season. So I learned about RSC from Treco because we go to the same school at University of Maryland, and I just happened to meet the guy in the RL server for Unity, and he mentioned that he was about to get a franchise in this league he plays in, and I would probably be a major, and he would like to pick me up, and so that was kind of the plan. But my stats in the back end for GMs didn't look so great, so he tried to snipe me in a later round, and he missed me. I got picked up by Moose. So actually, the cut came kind of fortunate in that sense because I ended up getting picked up by Treco, and then I was there for 2 seasons strong, being his AGM and his major captain.
There you go. Because what's it? Well, you were one of the guys I talked to fairly frequently in the GM hub.
Yeah. I'm also going to throw you under the bus because that season both your cuts, I'm like, wait a second. Because you just did it, and I'm like, wait.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm proud of my decision.
Well, I was AGM, and I did. He just went off and did it. I'm like, wait a second, this guy's actually good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I remember thinking the team was a little bit wonky. I remember thinking some of the pass play ideas were really weird. They were really slow up and down the field, and so I just felt kind of awkward some of the games. And so when I got cut, I was like, it's kind of depressing. So I didn't really know how RSC worked yet. Mm-hmm. I never really read the rules or had any context. But then I realized that Treco was able to pick me up, and I was pretty happy right away.
Yeah. Well, that's and part of why we're doing the podcast and why we did the really poor quality audio of what not to do as an FA and what you can do as an FA to try and hopefully illustrate that you get cut, it's really not that bad, you can get picked right up again,
but also be patient if you don't get picked up right again because people don't make changes at the drop of a hat.
Unless you're me and you're scrambling for the...
Unless your team disappears or doesn't exist.
Yeah. It was also unfortunate because I was a GM about 2 seconds before the season started. Thank you, Crane.
Anyways, let's move off of talking about how he got cut and move on to his success as a GM.
Yeah, well...
Well, I remember...
He hasn't been a GM... He's been about a GM as long as I was at the time that I cut him.
I remember...
So,
I remember, like, probably the day that he got promoted to a GM, he messages me about, hey, you guys did an EM movie night. How do you guys do that so I can do one for my franchise? And then next day I see him become GM. I'm like, oh, does he think about this as being a GM? But no, he was doing it as a 2IC.
Yeah. So, all right. Untamed, how has AGMing been? How's GM life treating you? You excited? How's the team?
Yeah, I feel like I've more or less settled in as GM. Honestly, I was so active as a GM at Shark Tank. Like, I think definitely the most active AGM in RSC.
What movie did you guys watch?
So we never actually ended up doing that because I became GM like before, and then Treco yoinked all my perms, and I was like, oh, well, I need to work on my own GM stuff anyway. So we never ended up watching a movie. But we were able to hold a couple off-season events, like we did a Boomer Mode tournament, which was lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, AGMing for Treco was a whole lot of fun. We had a really good run. Like, he was in GM of the season and franchise of the season contention. I think we were second overall in win percentage, and that was definitely the thing Treco wanted. He just wanted wins. Every team except mine, ironically, made playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was really happy as AGM, and Shark Tank is still like kind of my home. It's kind of awkward not to be a part of that franchise. Still spend a lot of time talking to the guys over there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been nice trying to, like, I guess, cut out my own niche with no restrictions now. I no longer have to check with Treco or fear I'm going to do something that he might not agree with. Mm-hmm. And so far, I'm really liking it. We have a lot of, like, really good people. I think I take a kind of unique approach to GMing in terms of what I'm looking for. I mostly just want people who are active and really want to improve, so I can take, like, my background as a coach and help people get better and just see my teams improve over the season.
Okay. Yeah, that's always a good way to go about it. I know, I think we're a little bit bonkers in our own franchise here, but that's ideally the concept. Get good people in your franchise and
help them get better.
And then, ideally you're going to have a bunch of fun and maybe win some key games.
Yeah, so I know over the end we have a pretty big social culture to make sure that people are talking across tiers, make sure people are doing stuff like together all over the place, make sure people know each other. How do you describe your culture in your franchise now? Have you worked hard to establish something, or have you just kind of gone with the flow there?
Yeah, the one thing I do think I've slacked on in terms of GMing has been updating the server itself. I think that there are a lot of things I could do to be more conducive to, like, what I want. But thankfully, overall, the goals for my community have worked out pretty well. We have a lot of activity just in our general chat between all the tiers talking together. The teams play together often. We've had already a couple, like, cross-tier scrims and 6-mans.
Perfect.
And yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun. I got to bring in a lot of the former Middle-earth players, tried to get as many keepers as I could just to try to help retain whatever culture was already there, because I wasn't that familiar with Middle-earth. I knew Neb a little bit, but besides that, I was just in the server and never active. So I really wanted to not just come in and impose my own thoughts, but also help to retain what was formerly there.
Okay. So far so good. Nothing, no major hiccups. And also, I can tell you from experience that server permissions are unimportant. I almost never got those right.
Well, when he says that, he means I took care of the server permissions because they are important. And he can't figure it out. Last time he tried to set them, he made everyone in the server admin.
Oh no! How do you mess up? There's literally a tick called admin.
I asked him to make me admin again to deal with podcast stuff, and about, like, 3 hours later, I get a message from Wolfie. Did you make everyone admin? I'm like, no, I asked Wolf to make... I didn't ask Moose to make me admin. He's like, well, he made everyone else admin.
I made one extra player an admin, and they didn't even know about it, so they couldn't have possibly done that much damage.
No, but
That's
it's
the
the
attitude.
thought that counts and the lack thereof.
I was
At
gonna
least he
fix it.
wasn't server owner.
I was gonna fix. Yeah.
In the Moose days of GM, if someone was a sub, I had to remove their permissions because he wouldn't.
I started out strong.
Also, when I wasn't 2IC, I still had to remove the permissions.
It's all right. Season 6 was my season, and then I got busy with life. So now I'm
and continued not doing server admin stuff.
yeah. Well, that's okay. Wolfie's
got it.
got that taken care of, and if he doesn't, well, he's got Flez and Mesmer to worry about.
Shout out to Mesmer on that cruise.
Yeah, hopefully he's got plenty of White Claw out there to keep him company.
We know how much he loves White Claw. If you're listening to this, Mesmer,
He's
have
got-
White Claw on us.
He's gonna be so mad if we. I would say, anyone watching this, go ahead and message Mesmer about which flavor White Claw he likes the best. I'm sure he'll love that.
Please send him a picture of the White Claw you're drinking too.
Or anything else, just fruity or in general potentially considered.
He also likes Seagram's a lot
He
too.
does like Seagram's, doesn't
He loves Seagram's.
We're gonna have to really bleep a few of these things out, aren't we?
Oh no, I didn't get onto the tangent I wanted to get on, but shouldn't have.
Uh-oh, what's that?
I'm not talking about it.
Okay, never mind then.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Do we have
You
more?
can DM me if you want to find out what tangent that is, and I will tell you.
Alright, anyways.
For the viewers, these guys will hear about it in the post.
Alright, let's see here. Alright, so, I guess let's talk now. I know you said you were trying to retain a decent number of your, decent number of words, keepers, yeah. Now, when you got shifted over to GM, did you feel like you had enough time to get set up as like a set up for draft and scouting and not abandoned 2 days before? With
Do you have daddy issues from your transition to GM? Is that what you're asking?
I was
I think a certain
traumatized.
someone does.
I was traumatized.
I know you were. That's why I became a GM.
Oh, wow,
So
that,
that's appropriate term for it, I guess.
yeah.
No, I think I had sufficient time. Honestly, I think I misused it a little bit. I was also new to moderation, and so I was spending a good bit of time on that. I didn't expect to get GM because I knew that it was all there were no expansion franchises.
Yeah.
So I kind of assumed that all of the spots were going to be taken by players on existing franchises.
Mhm.
But thankfully, Beans wouldn't take this franchise over like Neb wanted him to, and so I was able to snag it. And also Limon leaked it to me like 2 days early, so I did have a little bit of a head start.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I definitely did not.
Okay, I'm going on a tangent again. I'm closing the loop. Hey, Lynn, do you want to show why I was laughing about 2
It's
seconds
all
ago?
fruit juice.
You want to show the video stream why I was laughing about?
We're gonna have to censor these later when we find out that we're not officially sponsored by any of these.
I just ran.
So she asked me to open a can for her at the beginning of the stream, and she still had this left, which for Untamed, she's two-fisting right now with an Red's apple and a White Claw,
And painting.
and painting the logo.
Oh
for
yes,
us.
yeah. The canvas is a little bit. I would say you might as well flash the camera the canvas again because
More progress.
the fact that she can do this while she's drinking is just disgusting. Yay! So
Yeah.
far, so good. You got more to go, or are you?
Yes, more.
Okay, thank you.
Just do the stroke on like half of those.
Yeah.
Yes. Make better.
More
Make
boost.
better, yes.
Yes, I'm gonna do boost too. That's
More boost,
last.
make better. Take a corner boost at 98.
That's how you rotate faster.
Go faster. Take corner boost at 98.
Yeah. All right. So, shoot. What else can we grill Untamed about? I mean, Wamba dug up the entire history of your.
I saw a 20-0 record start for one of the GMs of your franchise before you. How are you going to live up to expectations?
Very poorly because I don't care about wins.
Okay, so
Answer. Yeah, I mean, I came from a franchise that cared almost exclusively about wins. I mean, Treco cut his who has now become his AGM because unfortunately he just wasn't up to par for the tier that he was in. For me, almost the opposite. I'm looking primarily to just give the players the best experience they can wherever they're coming in at, as long as they fit. So if you're, not that great, even if you're overpriced, if you're grinding, if you're trying to improve, if you're going to listen to coaching, if you're a really good guy, then I'll definitely keep you around. And so record-wise, I'm just hoping that I can go about even overall. I'm sure that won't be the case because honestly, going 50% overall isn't that common. That's a pretty good end season, but I'm hoping that the teams improve enough that by the end, they're all winning their last couple match days.
And I also know too from experience, first season as a GM is not always the easiest one, but that second, again, I think I went from being one of the worst franchises in season 5 to probably one of the better franchises of season 6.
Yeah.
So even if this one's a little bit rough, you stick around for season 6, and again, you get the right guys, you get the guys that are putting in the work. It'll come out favorably for you because they start winning towards the end of the season. That means they start winning at the start of the next season.
They start the next season winning.
It's really sad.
Sure.
It's really sad that you aren't drinking.
I know, because I am stuttering like a mother.
You have no excuses now.
Maybe I'm just slowly absorbing it through osmosis. Maybe that's what it is.
That's what it is.
The air.
Or maybe you're just awkward.
That's more the case.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe.
I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe we're cooking with butter is the real quote.
Oh. No, we are cooking healthy. We aren't using
We are
butter.
using butter.
Wink,
Wink, wink.
About to say, is there a story behind that? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, basically we were on
When we're on the house of the 2 food groups versus the you're gonna eat healthy house.
Yeah,
The 2 food groups being beer and meat.
yeah. So
Fair enough.
there's the man's diet, the Ron Swanson diet, which is just beer and meat, and then
there's Lindsay's master plan, which is I'm gonna leave food out while you're cooking it. It's gonna be healthy food, and you'll just end up eating it.
right,
It worked.
Yeah, because we eat anything that's on the counter.
exactly.
Yes.
So as we're cooking, we may or may not have snuck butter in when we were supposed to use oil. As we're shouting out into the living room,
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter. It tastes almost like it's butter. Right?
We're so good at
Maybe
cooking.
it's actually butter.
If I've learned anything from the Japanese, is that if you cook anything with enough garlic and butter, it's going to taste pretty darn good.
You learned that from hibachi people.
This is true.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't learn it from the hibachi people. I learned it from the hibachi dishwasher, who was not.
The hibachi dishwasher was all about cooking.
They were understaffed.
The dishwasher.
Yes,
The person they don't let cook.
exactly. They were understaffed, and he came out, and he was not Japanese. And he said, "Japanese have figured this out. If you cook with enough garlic and butter, it doesn't matter what you do. It's gonna taste pretty good."
Sage advice.
Exactly. So for all you
From the
viewers,
dishwasher, not the chef. The dishwasher.
yeah. So
Just gonna remind you all, the dishwasher.
hey, he turned out all right. Better than I could have
How
done.
much sake did you have?
We're not going to talk about how much sake I had for that.
Probably a lot.
My parents were there, so not like.
So a lot.
I wish I had a lot.
I know your parents a lot.
Yeah.
Anyhow, moving on.
All right. Should we talk about how much I drink when I'm with my in-laws?
Well, your in-laws are supportive of our habits.
All right. So, anyways, Untamed. How's the alcohol problem in your franchise Discord?
Yeah, I mean, it's really killer. The whole franchise is going under, unfortunately.
Oh no.
They all drink.
First season as GM, he's already blowing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that sometimes. When you draft based on alcohol consumption, it's kind of problematic.
Actually, how did you feel about your first night in EM before you got cut?
I thought first night was pretty fun. I think we ran some like 6-mans.
Joe was drunk off
Oh,
his ass.
yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, he was supposed to absolutely drunk off his ass, and I'd be the responsible dog. He was also drunk off his ass.
Well, yeah, I couldn't even finish the draft because by the time we got to prospect, I was stuttering worse than I was
And then
now.
I
Yeah.
said,
He's doing the drinking game when he's the GM supposed to.
oh, we were both doing the drinking game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
We're gonna start doing that soon after Monday. So
Also,
Maybe I've just forgotten because I do remember like it was right away that I was aware that all decisions went down at a bar. So that was like my first impression about the leadership of DM. All decisions were made by these two in some bar in Michigan.
As you can tell, you know, we have a very serious, very serious strategy.
Well, it was like this year, I sent them a picture. Hey guys, this is the bar where we decided whether we were cutting here or not. Which I'll put in the stream so they can see the picture of the bar where all the decisions were made.
Yeah. Also, if you are in Michigan, Duffy's is a good place to go, and they have music on Friday nights. Very loud music.
They should ask for Vicky.
Yeah, ask for Vicky. She's the best. Okay, so, what else can we bug you about Untamed? Aside from the fact that I need you to carry me in doubles at one point or another.
Oh no, I'm being asked for carries again. You have to
No.
pay me, guy. I'm trying to get the corrupt business model going while I'm
You haven't
paying.
played doubles in your life forever, John. You haven't played doubles in me.
No, I know. I play. Well, you and I. That's
You
the
have
good
not
thing.
played doubles in forever.
Mostly because I work late and you get done with work early, and by the time that I'm ready to start playing, you're
I'm
already
already
going
going
to
to
bed.
bed.
Yeah. So Untamed, if you
we're very cyclical.
Untamed, clearly you stay up later, so I can maybe borrow you once or twice. I promise I don't suck that bad.
That bad is it.
I don't know. I'm decent.
It's okay. I've played with Nub. You can't be worse.
Oh god, I remember playing that 2IC GM tournament with
That been Fiend.
Neb and Fiend, and Fiend was carrying Neb. It felt like not
Yeah.
the other way around.
Neb, if you're watching this, we love you, buddy.
But we love Fiend more.
Okay, he knows I love him.
No. Oh, holy cow! It is.
Yeah, I guess the other things you could ask me about would be I'm also a mod, a caster, streamer, and coach in RSC.
Craziest thing
Those
you've
are
had a
kind of
mod.
my positions.
All right.
Ew. Okay.
Craziest thing you've had a mod.
And you can leave names out because we
Yeah.
can't. We don't want to throw
Don't
anyone
don't
too
name
much.
shame, but remove the names and talk about it. And they'll
Okay.
know who they are.
So, I think that one of the weirdest ones, just because it made no sense, was someone who seemed utterly normal, but they would like spaz out in messages occasionally and just say the worst obscenities and the most like hurtful things. Like they just drop a like suicidal thoughts in chat, and we would have to give them warnings and like strikes, and then they would always DM someone and apologize about right after. But they kept doing it.
Oof.
So ultimately, well, you can imagine where that ended them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost had. Yeah, that's almost like you got. Well, almost bipolar to a certain
I
extent.
was about to say, it's
Yeah.
either bipolar or psychotic, sort of.
You
Yeah, it
know,
was interesting.
One of those two.
Which also shout out to mental health. You know.
Yeah, it's
If
a
you-
serious thing as an RA to deal with a bunch of stuff. So
Right. So yeah, if you are having issues, particularly in a competitive Rocket League environment, even though this is all for fun, you know.
make sure to talk to people. You have support structure around you.
RSC.
We care about you.
Yeah, RSC may not necessarily seem like it, but you know, most. You know, I think. Well, we've got a fairly encouraging community.
Once you get past the competitive veneer, like we do care about you.
Yeah, and also too, you know, if you are having issues, go get professional help if you're able, because
Make sure people talk to people. Don't just keep it to yourself.
exactly. All right, so outside, you're also
Caster.
casting. Clearly,
I'm
you're
going
gonna.
to the fridge quickly.
Okay, yeah, go get. Yeah, you
I'm also
go
going. I'm also going to go pay
More
the
white
rent.
balls.
Okay. All right, Untamed, I got you for a while. Linz, you gonna join me as my co-host?
Put on the headset.
I'm coming. No one knows me.
I mean, everyone knows you.
Just kidding. Only
You're the
GMs. know me.
t-shirt person.
Wolf, aka Gossip Graphics Designer.
Yeah. What's it, Untamed? We got you do the casting. Now, clearly, I'm not cut out for casting because I would go blah, 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 in matches.
I'm trying to do casting.
No, are you typically color commentary? Or are you play-by-play?
Yeah, I'm more suited for color overall. I mean, just being like a GC player and a coach, it makes more sense for me to analyze the game than provide play-by-play with the people we have available. Also, it's sort of the style that I prefer. Like, I watch a lot of like John Boy versus just sort of the play-by-play casters who think about Stackhouse and people like that. They're not really who I prefer personally to listen to.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty new to the job though. I just joined media during the off season, but it's gone well so far.
The Breast Cancer Awareness Committee with the pink overlay.
It's like hot pink though. I don't know.
I mean, it's somewhat close. It's close enough, really.
Yeah, that's fair. Coach color is almost the same.
The fun.
I was that color for about a week.
The funny thing is that when I'm
trying to get the coach role, it's hilarious.
I know when I'm playing, I wind up When I'm playing, I accidentally wind up doing play-by-play commentary because I'll try. Excuse me, especially when I'm trying to work with other, when I'm working with some of the other tiers for coaching, I'll start dictating what I'm going to do before I go do it, so that they have an idea of when's a pass coming, what am I looking for, is a shot coming, and in game I'll be able to do that just fine until about halfway through, and then I'll get a nice little. Yes, you can make fun of me.
I'm doing John's duty just by drinking. That's all I can add to this podcast right now.
That's all right. But yeah, I'll wind up slurring about halfway through, and then I'll wind up saying watch for shot, or he's gonna hit it, and then I'll combine it, and then I'll just be like, it's shit.
Getting too fast for yourself, buddy.
Exactly, and I do that both with my speech and with my car, because Whiff City.
Yeah, it's funny. Like for me, it's kind of also when I play. If I'm on my personal stream, say, I kind of stream just so I have people to talk to, even if it's only to myself sometimes.
Right.
And I'll just like analyze my own play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, kind of like if anyone watches Flakes, I have a discount Flakes, except I'm not quite as mean. I'll be a little bit nicer with it. So, I mean, if someone goes as last man and gets beat to a 50 that they shouldn't have taken, I'll point that out mid-game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of all I say.
Okay.
People have eyes, but they don't always have brains.
Right.
I need to explain these things. And also, the more I say it, the more likely I will to not be making those mistakes in-game myself. Because knowing it and not doing it, those are two very different things.
Right, because I'll try and, oh my goodness. Now I have both of my co-hosts two-fisting.
Man.
Oh my god.
I guess that's for that.
Sorry.
And,
This is already gone downhill.
yeah, this is what happens when you start a podcast post-midnight. Your co-hosts get drunk and, well...
And make things.
You make things.
Yes.
And I feel sad because I gotta wait till the next episode record to join y'all.
No, boy. We're going to have to be pulling Cobra into the
The
toilet.
original pitch was the RSC Bar podcast where we're going to drag Tree Frog and
What's
I
it?
think
Memlo or Melted? I can never remember.
it is Melted probably. We're going to drag Tree Frog and Melted into
It
a
was
bar
Melted.
and do the podcast with them absolutely faced
Yeah,
Oh, that'd
in a
be
bar. And we're going to change the bar every time.
absolutely censor-faced.
I would love to see that. I have yet to hear Tree Frog's voice, I think.
cool.
Yeah,
I've heard Tree Frog's voice. It's interesting.
I've been in RSC for now, coming on 3 seasons. I have like 2-3 staff roles and GM, and I'm the most active person in the server besides Crike by messages.
I think
never
Tree
heard Tree
is
Frog's
willing to do
voice.
an interview, so we can probably get him on sometime.
Yeah, because we have to. Well, what's it? Yeah, we've got Orsa/RSC history lessons in the making. Also, we've also got that admin. We got the self-appointed admin elections coming up.
Oh yeah, because
Untamed, weren't you gonna apply for? that?
It's time
Yeah,
for your
dude.
media circuit, buddy.
I would say if you need a recommendation, I will gladly recommend you.
I'm gonna
10 out of
try
10 would come again.
Oh.
I'm gonna try and run for it too, probably.
Nice. Good luck.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was
Alright.
hoping I could get Fickerson as my recommendation because I knew he would, or at least I think he would. But
We love
he's no
Fickerson.
longer any staff role because he only had admin and of course he stepped down.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Really sad to see him go.
we have media
Well,
committee staff, so we can.
I ain't gonna ask because he probably has some vicious going on, but it's sad to see him go.
Mm-hmm.
Real
Yeah.
sad. Yeah.
We're not.
We're not getting into this. We love Fickerson. We also love our elite team. And we love not having a ton of issues to deal with.
Oh no.
I love playing in elite.
Yeah.
I love playing in 2 tiers. I love managing whether or not it's worth it for me to play in elite or play in major on the night.
My first season as a GM was rough. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right.
That was a flex pick.
You were a flex pick. Oh goodness. All right. All right. So yeah, vote for Untamed. I guess because you stand for what's your slogan? What's the goal of you being admin?
I wasn't aware I
Get
needed a
good.
slogan at this point. Yeah, just get good, kids.
Get good. Vote for Untamed and get good.
Yeah, that'll really help you out there. But
If you
anything
If I
If you
say
vote-
it now, then people can attack me when we have that debate idea that you brought up.
Vote
They'll
for
already know my strats.
there
Vote
you,
for Untamed, get good. You'll go up 2 ranks.
Yep, exactly.
I will carry each and every one of you to GC.
Ooh, that's
That's how you get presidents.
that's one heck of an admin right there.
Jake should be worried at this point.
We need to PolitiFact this though. How can we fact check this? How many Smurf accounts is Untamed gonna need?
I still have a PlayStation.
So if you he sells a PlayStation, that makes this a little bit
Yeah,
easier.
I
So
can
we-
still use that if necessary. I think I can still get.
All right, so we have 1 PlayStation account, and then we're gonna send that.
John!
John,
Don't leave me alone.
Brave has an issue with shutting the fridge.
I'm drunk. Leave me alone. And stuff just fell off the fridge, and someone else
I'm
was
drunk too.
Yes.
About to
Team
stick
drunk
all
is causing
over
gas
that.
over here.
We might have to cut the. I want to say we're gonna have to cut this short
I
because
don't
you two
care.
are drunks, but at the same time, we probably
We're
been
gonna
going
keep
for
going.
like an hour and a half.
We're gonna keep going.
At this.
Yeah, we've
That's
been
the
going
content,
at this like an hour and a
honestly.
half.
I don't care. I cut this stuff, I edit it, and then we put it as it is.
You mean you bleep out 3 words and then we call it good?
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely all the editing there was in the episode.
Or make
I don't know. Actually, there was a cut there that you. There was a hard cut there because we had to stop and reevaluate some stuff, but you didn't notice it. So good job.
No. Not to mention we did the RSC, the intro video that we came up with, the parody text crawl.
Oh, that was great. My Jim's like, hey, Moose, Jim, whatever. I'm gonna call him Jim from now on. So Moose equals Jim, John equals Brave. Yeah, we're gonna get this over with now. So he's like, hey, we should totally do this parody, and I'm like, give me the name so I can just copy paste them in and no editing. He's like, okay, cool. He punts it to his brother, who does it and does it in Excel with Excel formatting around it. So then me and Lynn's DireWoof are sitting there doing everything ourselves, like normal.
Yep.
It was not copy paste in.
It was not copy pasted in, and I was busy.
And he was busy sitting around playing Rocket League with people.
Well, yes, our amateur and contender and prospect teams all got the same 3-hour speech while you guys were doing the editing.
Was the 3 hour speech consistent of
3
words hit
hours.
the ball for 1 hour each?
Hit the ball for 1 hour, basically.
Hit for 1 hour, the for 1 hour, and ball for 1 hour.
You know, that coaching life, sometimes you gotta work on the basics. Oh man, alright. We gotta cut this or call it, because
Pretty.
you wanna show.
He's already visited.
You want to show where it's at?
You can show where it's at, and then we can go from there. Because
You can
you
show
can
the
then
final.
post the final
Yeah.
in a thing, or when you finish, we can put it up there. Please don't trip.
Too late.
So,
That's what it looks like.
Untamed, you would say it's beautiful if you could see this, but
Yes.
you'll have to wait
Yeah,
until we
definitely.
post it,
You can wait until it's a t-shirt.
and then buy it so we can upload episode 4 this
I
month.
Yeah.
The audience can see it, so.
All
Pretty good. Unfortunately.
I'll have
right.
to peep in the VOD.
Yeah. So, all right, Untamed. Hopefully, when Wolfie cuts me this season, you might consider adding me to the franchise.
When he cuts me for my new campaign.
Yeah, we're gonna leave.
Yeah, sure. I'll cut you right away for spite, but I mean, I'll sign you.
He'll sign, resign.
I say, I
I'll
promise
think
to play.
rules.
I promise to play really well for the 2 match days that you have to have me.
Hey, Mac, I have a special for you. Sign this guy, cut him immediately, then re-sign him. Screw the rules, I have money.
All right,
That's
so
what happened with Neb, I think.
yeah. Well, Neb was confusing because there were 2 Nebs. There was GM Neb with a heart, and then there was Premier Neb that was also
That heart came in when there's premiere now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I knew other Neb from UMD. He doesn't go here, but he's transferring soon,
Nice.
and he's crazy good.
Yeah, we're still trying to get Lawrence Tech to get that team up and rolling.
Did you talk to them about that yet?
No.
We should check in and see it. Whatever. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
We can do an episode.
All right. In any case, all right. Let's sign off here before more alcohol gets consumed and we start throwing up on stream.
Yeah.
All
Throwing up.
right, Untamed. Thanks again. We'll get you back out here at some point. We'll check in later in the season, see how your strategy's going. Make sure that the building isn't burning down.
This building's going to be burning down.
Yeah, this building might burn down. You're gonna have to reinstall that fire alarm. All right. Anyways, all right. I'm a dead moose. I'm tired. I'm signing off.
I'm Brave New World. I'm drunk and not tired.
All right. Cobra.
God, Cobra Kai, aka Sin birthday boy. You know me by now.
All right, Cobra. Be safe. Drink water this weekend.
I'll
Oh.
definitely try.
Oh man,
Going on Monday, but-
you got really poor / great timing because you got Super Bowl to worry about. Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Super Bowl today
Anywho's.
and tomorrow. That's gonna be fun.
All right, real quick. Untamed. Chiefs or 49ers?
You go with the Chiefs. Mahomes is too good.
All right.
I'm going with the Niners.
You're going with the
Niners.
Niners.
All day.
All right.
All right.
What do you got, Brave?
49ers.
49ers. All right, I'm going Chiefs. All right, Linz.
Split.
Chiefs, I love Kelsey.
All right, sounds good.
Wait, I meant Chiefs. I'm drunk.
You went
I'm like, wait a second. I like Chiefs. I like throwing without looking where I'm throwing.
Yeah.
I like
kind of like that prediction. You don't know where you're throwing it, but you're throwing it anyway.
Just like Mahomes, I don't look where I throw, nor do I look at where I'm saying.
This is where we need to get a good video post editor so that we can throw up the NFL predictions and then watch as one of them just starts flickering and switches over.
Also, so they can cut when I say the swap.
Swap. All right.
I got nervous.
All right. In any case, all right. We'll cut the video here.